In this presentation, we are going to see the deep perineal pouch in detail. Boundaries, contents of the deep perineal pouch. Also, the urogenital diaphragm in detail. The recent concept of the urogenital diaphragm also we are going to see. Before seeing this presentation, go to the previous presentation, that is perineum 2B. Read the different layers of the urogenital triangle, then come back and see this presentation. You can able to appreciate very well all the points. In this presentation, we are going to see the following topics of the urogenital triangle. They are deep perineal pouch, boundaries and contents, urogenital diaphragm, and subcutaneous perineal space. Coming to the next space in the urogenital triangle, that is the deep perineal pouch or space. By definition, it is an interfacial space across the pubic arch between the superior and the inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm in the urogenital triangle of the perineum. In the diagram above, you can able to appreciate the diagrammatic representation of the three layers of the urogenital triangle. They are Colles fascia, perineal membrane, superior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm. If you carefully observe, there is a space between the perineal membrane and the superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. This space is called deep perineal space or deep perineal pouch. Coming to the boundaries, the roof is formed by the lower surface of the superior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm. The floor of the space is formed by the upper surface of the perineal membrane or inferior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm. Anteriorly, the space is closed by the fusion of the anterior margins of superior and inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. Posteriorly, the space is closed by the fusion of posterior margins of superior and inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. On each side, it is bounded by inner surface of the ischiopubic ramus. So, the space is closed on all the sides. Communication, although it is a closed space, posterolaterally, this space communicates with the anterior end of the pudendal canal. Coming to the contents of the deep perineal pouch, the contents of the deep perineal pouch will be discussed under the following headings: tubes, glands, muscles, nerves, and vessels. If we take up the tubes, membranous urethra is present in the deep perineal pouch in male. Both urethra and vagina are present in deep perineal pouch in female. If you take up the glands, bulbourethral glands are present in deep perineal pouch in male. In female, no glands are present. The bulbourethral glands will be discussed in the next slide. Coming to the muscles as a content, in male, the deep transverse perineae and the sphincter urethrae are present in deep perineal pouch. In female, the following muscles are present in deep perineal pouch. They are deep transverse perineae, sphincter urethrae, compressor urethrae, and sphincter uretrovaginalis. Coming to the nerves as a content, following nerves are present in male: dorsal nerve of penis, muscular branches from perineal nerve to muscles of deep perineal pouch. In female, dorsal nerve of clitoris and muscular branches from perineal nerve to the muscles of deep perineal pouch are present in the deep perineal pouch. If you want to understand the nerves as a content, read the pudendal nerve course, relations and branches. Then read the nerves as a content of the deep perineal pouch. You very well understand. Coming to the vessels, that means arteries and veins as a content of the deep perineal pouch. In male, the following vessels are present. They are terminal portion of the internal pudendal artery and the proximal portion of the 4 branches of the internal pudendal artery are present in the deep perineal pouch. These 4 branches are artery to bulba penis, urethral artery, deep artery of penis and dorsal artery of penis. In female, the terminal portion of the internal pudendal artery is present. Also, the proximal portion of its 4 branches are also present in the deep perineal pouch. They are artery to bulba vestibule, urethral artery, deep artery of clitoris and dorsal artery of clitoris. To understand these arteries as a content of the deep perineal pouch, read the internal pudendal artery, its course, relations and branches. Then read the vessels as a content of the deep perineal pouch. Coming to the one of the content of the deep perineal pouch in males, bulbourethral glands, otherwise called Cowper's glands. These are pair of small compound tubulo-alveolar glands situated in deep perineal pouch, one on each side, lateral or posterolateral to membranous urethra. In this diagram, you can able to appreciate the deep perineal pouch. The middle of the deep perineal pouch contains the membranous urethra. On one side of the membranous urethra, you can able to appreciate the bulbourethral gland. In deep perineal pouch, these glands are enclosed by a fibers of sphincter urethrae. In this diagram also, you can able to appreciate the bulbourethral gland surrounded by a sphincter urethrae muscle. Each gland gives off a long duct about 3 centimeters in length, which pierces the perineal membrane to enter the superficial perineal pouch and finally opens in the intrabulbar fossa of spongy or penile urethra. In the diagram, you can be able to appreciate the duct of the bulbourethral gland piercing the perineal membrane, coming to the superficial perineal pouch, opening in the spongy urethra. These bulbourethral glands are responsible for producing a pre-ejaculatory fluid called Cowper's fluid, which is secreted during sexual arousal. These glands corresponds to the greater vestibular glands of female. In female, the greater vestibular glands lie in superficial perineal pouch. Now we are going to see the muscles of deep perineal pouch. We are going to see the muscles of the deep perineal pouch in females and males separately. First, we take up the muscles of the deep perineal pouch in males. In deep perineal pouch, the muscles are arranged in 2 planes. Immediately above the perineal membrane lies the sphincter urethrae muscle. Above the sphincter urethrae muscle, that means below the superior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm, lies the deep transverse perineal muscle. First, we will take up the deep transverse perineal muscle. It forms an incomplete sheet of muscle extending across the urogenital triangle. This muscle originates from the medial aspect of entire ischiopubic ramen. If we take the fibers of these muscles, posteriorly only the muscle is well developed. these fibers run medially, gets inserted into perineal body. Some of the fibers blend with sphincter urethrae and sphincter ani externus. Anteriorly, the most of the fibers are deficient. In this diagram, you can able to appreciate the deep transverse perineal muscle extending across the pubic arch. You can able to appreciate that anteriorly these fibers are deficient. Posteriorly only you can able to appreciate the well-developed muscle. The fibers gets inserted into the perineal body mainly. All these things you can able to appreciate in this diagram. Nerve supply by means of muscular branch of perineal nerve. Action of this muscle together with superficial transverse perineum, it fixes the perineal body in the median plane. This muscle supports the viscera which passes through the muscle. It is a skeletal muscle. The next muscle in male is the sphincter urethrae. The sphincter urethrae surrounds the membranous part of the urethra. This muscle consists of two sets of fibers, superficial and deep fibers. The superficial fibers arises from the transverse perineal ligament and the adjacent pubic arch, passes backwards by the side of the urethra and gets inserted into the perineal body. In this diagram, you can able to appreciate the sphincter urethrae muscle. The superficial fibers arising from the transverse perineal ligament and the adjacent pubic arch you can able to appreciate. In this diagram, the perineal membrane has been removed, but the anterior thickened margin is called transverse perineal ligament. In this diagram, the transverse perineal ligament is only shown, not the perineal membrane. If you take the deep fibers, these fibers arises from the inner surface of the ischiopubic ramus. These fibers passes horizontally to encircle the urethra and becomes continuous with the similar fibers of the opposite side. In this diagram also, you can able to appreciate the horizontally lying deep fibers. Nerve supply by means of muscular branch of perineal nerve. Action of this muscle, when the bladder is distended, it compresses the urethra, but it is relaxed during micturition. This muscle contracts to expel the final drops of urine or semen from the membranous urethra. Coming to the muscles of deep perineal pouch in females. In deep perineal pouch, the four muscles are arranged in four planes from above downwards. That means from superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm to the perineal membrane. The muscles are the deep transverse perineum, sphincter urethrae, compressor urethrae, and sphincter uretrovaginalis. First, we will take up the deep transverse perineum. Like males, in female, this muscle forms an incomplete sheet of muscle extending across the urogenital triangle. Origin, this muscle originates from the medial aspect of entire ischiopubic ramen. Insertion, posteriorly the muscle is well developed. These fibers runs medially and gets inserted into perineal body. Some of its fibers blend with sphincter urethrae and sphincter ani externus. Anteriorly, most of the fibers are deficient. In this diagram, you can able to appreciate the deep transverse perineum extending across the ischiopubic ramen. Anteriorly, most of the fibers are deficient. You can be able to appreciate the well-developed posterior fibers alone. Nerve supply by means of muscular branch of peroneal nerve. Action together with the superficial transverse peroneal, it fixes the peroneal body in median plane. It supports the viscera which passes through the muscle. It is mainly a smooth muscle. The next muscle in deep peroneal pouch in female is the sphincter urethrae. This muscle surrounds the membranous part of urethra. This muscle consists of two sets of fibers, superficial and deep. The superficial fibers arises from the transverse peroneal ligament and the adjacent pubic arch. These fibers passes backwards by the side of the urethra and vagina and gets inserted into peroneal body. In this diagram, you can be able to appreciate the superficial fibers of sphincter urethrae arising from the transverse peroneal ligament and adjacent pubic arch. The fibers runs backwards by the side of the urethra and vagina. In this diagram, the peroneal membrane is not shown, but anterior thickened margin of the peroneal membrane, that is the transverse peroneal ligament, only shown. If we take the deep fibers of this muscle, these fibers arises from the inner surface of the ischiopubic ramus. These fibers passes horizontally to encircle the urethra and becomes continuous with the similar fibers of the opposite side. Nerve supply by means of muscular branch of peroneal nerve. Action of this muscle, when the bladder is distended, it compresses the urethra. This muscle is relaxed during micturition. This muscle contracts to expel the final drops of urine from the membranous urethra. Coming to the third muscle in deep peroneal pouch in females, that is the compressor urethrae. This muscle arises from the ischiopubic rami of each side. Fibers pass forwards, slightly upwards, and meet its fellow of the opposite side, ventral to urethra. In this diagram, you can be able to appreciate the compressor urethrae arising from the ischiopubic rami. Fibers runs forwards and upwards, ventral to the urethra. Some fibers may reach the lower wall of the vagina. This muscle lies below the sphincter urethrae. The last muscle is the sphincter uretrovaginalis. This muscle arises from perineal body. Fibers pass forward on each side of urethra and vagina to meet its counterpart ventral to urethra. In this diagram, you can be able to appreciate the sphincter uretrovaginalis arising from the perineal body runs along the urethra and vagina, passing ventral to the urethra. This muscle lies below the compressor urethrae and just above the perineal membrane. Nerve supply by means of muscular branch of peroneal nerve. Action of these two muscles, the sphincter uretrovaginalis constricts vagina. Both these muscles, compressor urethrae and sphincter uretrovaginalis, produce elongation as well as compression of membranous urethra, thus aid in continence of urine. Coming to the urogenital diaphragm. The muscle in the deep perineal pouch forms a sheet. Above the deep perineal pouch lies the pelvic diaphragm, that is the pelvic cavity. Below the deep perineal pouch lies the anterior part of the pelvic outlet. So, the muscle which forms a sheath in the deep perineal pouch separates the anterior part of the pelvic cavity from the anterior part of the pelvic outlet. So, the muscle in the deep perineal pouch, along with the fascia covering above and the fascia covering below, is collectively called urogenital diaphragm. Coming to the definition, it is a musculofacial partition across the pubic arch in the urogenital triangle, which separates the anterior part of the pelvic cavity from the anterior part of the pelvic outlet. Coming to the component parts of the urogenital diaphragm, it is divided into muscular component and facial component. If you take the muscular component, in male, the two muscles form the muscular component, deep transverse perineae and sphincter urethrae. In female, four muscles lie in deep perineal pouch, namely deep transverse perineae, sphincter urethrae, compressor urethrae, and sphincter uretrovaginalis. These muscles form a sheath extending across the pubic arch. If we take up the facial component, the fascia covering the superior aspect of the muscle sheath is called superior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm. Fascia which covers the inferior aspect of the muscle sheath is called inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. That is nothing but the perineal membrane. In this diagram, you can be able to appreciate the upper layer, that is the superior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm, that is shown in light green color. The inferior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm, it is shown in dark green color. In between these two fascia lies the muscle sheath of the deep perineal pouch. The description of these components, both the muscular components and the facial components, we have already discussed in detail. If we take up the structures piercing the urogenital diaphragm, in male only urethra, in female both urethra and vagina. Coming to the relations of the urogenital diaphragm, superiorly it is related to the apex of the prostate in male, neck of the urinary bladder in female. In the diagram shown on the left side, you can able to appreciate the deep perineal pouch. Above the deep perineal pouch lies the prostate. In the diagram shown on the right side, you can able to appreciate the deep perineal pouch. Above this pouch lies the neck of the urinary bladder. The anterior fibers of the levator ani muscle and the anterior recess of the ischiorrectal fossa also forms the superior relations. In the diagram, you can able to appreciate the deep perineal pouch. Above this pouch lies the anterior fibers of the levator ani muscle. There is a small space between these two, that is the deep perineal pouch and the anterior fibers of the levator ani muscle. This space is called anterior recess of the ischiorrectal fossa. It is indicated by a bifurcated arrow mark. Inferiorly, you very well know the deep perineal pouch is related to the superficial perineal pouch. So the contents of the superficial perineal pouch forms the inferior relations. Anteriorly, there is a triangular gap between the arcuate pubic ligament and the transverse perineal ligament. This gap is shown in this picture. In this picture, you can able to appreciate the perineal membrane stretching across the ischiopubic rami. If you carefully observe the anterior margin of the perineal membrane, it is thickened to form the transverse perineal ligament. Above this ligament, there is one more ligament, that is arcuate pubic ligament, that lies just below the pubic symphysis. There is a gap between these two ligaments, which transmits the following structures. The deep dorsal vein of the penis or clitoris in the midline. You can be able to appreciate the deep dorsal vein in the midline in the diagram. The dorsal nerve of the penis or clitoris on either side of the deep dorsal vein. You can also appreciate the structure on either side of the deep dorsal vein. Posteriorly, the urogenital diaphragm is related to the ischioanal fossa and its contents. In the diagram, you can be able to appreciate the perineal membrane. Behind the perineal membrane, on either side of the anal canal lies the ischioanal fossa. So the ischioanal fossa and its contents forms the posterior relations. Coming to the axons of the urogenital diaphragm, the axons are nothing but the axons of the muscles of the urogenital diaphragm. To sum up, the urogenital diaphragm supports the prostate in male and bladder in female. It fixes the perineal body. In female, it produces the constriction of the vagina. If we take up the sphincter urethrae, it exerts a voluntary control of micturition. It contracts to expel final drops of urine or semen from the membranous urethra. Coming to the applied anatomy of the urogenital diaphragm. Whenever there is an injury to perineum, the membranous urethra may be ruptured below the perineal membrane. If it is ruptured, there may be an extravasation of urine in superficial perineal pouch. This extravasated urine may pass forward deep to Dartas muscle and the fascia of penis and appears in the anterior abdominal wall in the superficial inguinal space. This extravasated urine might extend as high as up to axilla, but cannot reach the thigh. This region we have already discussed because there is a fusion of fascia of Scarpa and fascia lata along the Holden's line. This fusion prevents the extravasated urine which enter into the thigh. Coming to the recent concept of urogenital diaphragm, listen carefully. Previously, it was thought that muscles of urogenital diaphragm extend across the ischiopubic rami and forms a partition between the anterior part of pelvic diaphragm and the anterior part of pelvic outlet. But according to present view, the muscles of the deep perineal pouch do not form a diaphragmatic sheet except the posterior part of the deep transverse perineum. Sphincter urethrae only present around the membranous urethra. It also do not extend across the ischiopubic rami. The superior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm is very thin. So, because of these reasons, currently no urogenital diaphragm exists. So, according to present view, we are going to see the sphincter urethrae muscle in males and females separately. First, we'll take up the sphincter urethrae muscle in males according to present view. This sphincter urethrae is a striated muscle. These fibers forms a circular investment around the membranous urethra. That means it forms circular investment around the urethra that lies in the deep perineal pouch. Traced above, it forms trough-like part which extends around the anterior and anterolateral part of prostate up to the base of the bladder. In this diagram, you can able to appreciate the sphincter urethrae muscle forming a circular investment around the membranous urethra. If you trace these fibers above, these fibers extend across the anterior and anterolateral part of the prostate up to the bladder. These circularly oriented muscle fibers around the membranous urethra is called sphincter urethrae or distal urethral sphincter mechanism or rhabdosphincter. This distal urethral sphincter mechanism not only includes this striated muscle around the membranous urethra, also includes the intrinsic smooth muscle fibers of urethra and pubourethralis component of levator ani. In male, apart from the sphincter, that is the distal urethral sphincter mechanism, there is a separate proximal sphincter urethral mechanism. Coming to the sphincter urethrae in female according to present view. It is a striated muscle. These muscle fibers form a circular investment around the part of the urethra that lies in deep perineal pouch. That means it surrounds the middle one-third of the urethra in females. Traced above, it extends up to the base of the bladder. Traced below, it extends to involve vagina. So, it involves more than middle third of the urethra. In this diagram, you can able to appreciate the sphincter urethrae forming a circular investment around the urethra in deep perineal pouch. Tracing above, you can able to appreciate the sphincter urethrae extend up to the base of the bladder. If you trace below, you can able to appreciate part of the fibers also extend around the vagina. This circularly oriented muscle fibers around more than middle third of the urethra is called sphincter urethrae or urethral sphincter mechanism or rhabdosphincter. There is no separate proximal urethral sphincter in females. This urethral sphincter mechanism not only includes the striated muscles around the urethra, also includes intrinsic smooth muscle fibers of urethra and pubourethralis component of levator ani. Apart from superficial and deep perineal pouch, the urogenital triangle contains one more space, that is the subcutaneous perineal space. Apart from fatty and membranous layer of the superficial fascia and perineal membrane, there is one more fascia between the perineal membrane and the Colles fascia called deep perineal fascia or investing fascia or caludact fascia. This deep perineal fascia intimately invests the muscles of the superficial perineal pouch, namely bulbospongiosus, ischiocavernosus, and superficial transverse perineum. If we take up the attachment of this deep perineal fascia, laterally it is attached to the ischiopubic ramus superior to the attachment of Colles fascia. anteriorly attached to suspensory ligament of penis or clitoris, and then it continues with the deep fascia covering the external oblique muscle of the abdomen and rectus sheath. So, apart from superficial and deep perineal space, there is one more space between the Colles fascia and the deep perineal fascia. This space is called subcutaneous perineal space. This space contains thin connective tissue. This space expands only when the fluid gets collected. In this presentation, we have seen the deep perineal pouch, boundaries of the deep perineal pouch and the contents. We have seen in detail about some of the contents and urogenital diaphragm in detail, and lastly the subcutaneous perineal space.